Well, hi everyone. It's Thursday. It's October 20th. It's almost the close of the stock market. Let's talk about stock movements for the day. Let's talk about overall economic trends. I have a lot to say today as I have been spending time with this file in Google Sheets, which uses Google Finance formulas to query, close to live information. So it's a bit delayed, but it's pretty good for the day. And it gives you prices and changes, and I keep notes in here, and I'm reviewing every single company we have here to get this list down. We are now down to 688 companies, and I keep going through some and removing some every day that we don't need to follow. So we can get to know all the companies that are on this list and talk about everything. So I like to sort this in the percent of target price order, all right, which helps us review this. And it shows, companies that you'd think that my assessments say are going up. I have different target prices for them here. And there are a lot of them having bad days, and overall market is having a bad day in a lot of ways. And I talked about this in yesterday's video, and so it makes me want to kind of redirect how you would play stock options right now for the next few weeks, because stock options are just a form of, I call it gambling because it really is gambling, especially when they're super short term. But you can have a really an exponential return on your money sometimes because the movement is incredible. Like these percentages, this is not the way things used to be. When I say used to be, I mean, I remember growing up, and I remember we used to actually follow the stock prices in the newspaper. I can remember having a project when I was in middle school in the 90s, I think, early 90s, where we had to take the Washington Post every day, and we had to pick certain stocks and, do a simulation of what we were going to buy and then follow it the next day. And of course, the world has completely changed since then. And now you have much more than just a newspaper to go off of. You have daily trends, and things back then did not move 9% a day. Like companies regularly didn't move 6, 7% in a day. That would have been just astronomical most of the time. But now with all the trading and all the live action and people, I mean, people want to do this and do this. This is the biggest market in the world, is the stock market. So you see this craziness. And so how do you take advantage of this craziness, and what do you do with stock options? Well, right now it's pretty clear what to do for the next few weeks. Okay. You've got an election coming up in the United States. You have interest rates that have been abnormally disproportionately on the rise to try to curb inflation. And that makes big deals slow down. It makes big movement, big money transactions slow down. And the overall economy, which is also, like, you think of the stock market as a big money transaction. There are hedge funds that are moving around billions of dollars every day. And so it's kind of like, well, if everyone's a little hesitant because of a lot of uncertainty, which the market, of course, hates uncertainty, which there definitely is a lot of right now, you get this. You get a lot of stuff going down. And you also have this weird problem of kind of there's growth happening, and there's contracts that are being fulfilled, and there's buildings and homes and commercial things and repairs and all kinds of things that are in process, but supposedly that is slowing, especially on the private side because of interest rates. So I talked about Pool Corporation, for example, yesterday, and I put them at a target price of 250. They're down 5% today. I mean, that is, how many dollars is that? That's $15. That's $1,500 in intrinsic option value if you had an option in the money on this company that you make today by them going down, because even though they reported great earnings, they reported like 14% increase year over year today. It's like, what do we have to do? We're making a ton of money. And the answer is, it doesn't matter what you're making. It matters what we think you're going to make tomorrow. And we know that big companies like this are going to have to get a slow in orders because of the other impacts that are slowing things down that are probably not going to fix themselves within the short term, especially not within the next few weeks. So this is why you get that. And it was very predictable, even though it's a bit counterintuitive, because they're going to report great earnings, exceptional earnings, and they're going down. But that's the reason why, is the overall look at everything else. Tesla reports worse than expected quarterly stuff. I don't care. They're an awesome company. I bought a long call on them this morning when they were at 202. It's super short. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to curse it. but we'll see how it does. And I had to. I said if they get around 200, you have to buy a long call on them. So I absolutely did. That's the only exception I make to the rule right now, which is you should basically be shorting almost everything else for the next few weeks because you're probably going to make money. And so, what are those companies? Well, companies that have a quarterly target price of one are ones I say to short. That's Facebook. Unfortunately, Schrodinger, a company I originally liked, but I don't think they really have any product that's working well. I think they're just a modeling company that's trying to act in the biological space and they haven't figured it out. I want them to succeed, but I have to look at reality of what they've done and how they're doing it. And also, I think I have a little personal not stake in this company, but I relate to this company because I try to do the same thing and model biological processes in formulas and in code. And it's not, you don't think of everything and you don't account for the polarization of the cell and the pH. Sometimes there's a lot of things you just don't do appropriately. And so that's why like companies like Moderna that are actually programming the mRNA and creating vaccines that have already been tested and worked are the kind of companies that I want to do long calls in. And Schrodinger is one that I just had to abandon because and they've varied in stock price, a lot. They've gone up to like 60 or 70 a share. But they haven't to recover yet. So anyway, but other companies to short DraftKings, but they're only at $13. There's not a lot of value there. Roblox. I bought a put on Roblox today when they were up like 3%. And you can just sit back and watch this go down because even if it goes up one day, it's just going to go down the next day. They are not well run profitably. They are not a profitable company. If you look them up, they are not a profitable company. And you see them right here. They're good. How heavily traded were they? Yep, they're very heavily traded at 2.3%. And their market cap is 25 billion. You think that video game that your kids are playing that's accidentally charging your credit card too much is worth $25 billion? I don't think so. And especially because they never show a profit and dump all their money into selling and admin commissions, which is what looks like is going on there. So that's why you can be pretty sure they're going down, especially when the overall trend in the rest of the market is getting more apprehensive by the day. I think that's the way it feels. Home groups, going down. They're only down a little today. Single family home builder down 3.8%. I mean, look at the things that went down a ton today, right? Did we call it? I didn't call it WD-40. That's weird. I guess they're suffering from, construction or whatever, but everybody uses WD-40. Everybody run into Home Depot. I think their sales are going to be about the same. I think their guidance was maybe a little lower, but whatever. They're probably fine. Yes, rail took a hit today. A lot of big rail companies went down. Paints and coating, anything construction related, like stuff I said, bad timing here. I did these notes today though, but Pool Corporation I talked about yesterday, Carlisle companies, same problem. Slow and home building is going to bring these companies down to earth because they had a lot of money pumping into them because the housing market was exploding recently and they're just showing the profits from that. Crocs, I cannot believe this company is so profitable. My note on Crocs with the shoe company or whatever, that UFOS are much better. And I hope UFOS overtakes them. I think UFOS is owned by Nike, but I still don't know. I got to figure that out. But I like UFOS, so I'm partial to a different type of footwear. Whirlpool. I could have done the notes on them today. That would fall into the same category as Pool. And we're going to say, I mean, I don't want to put a 1 on them, but at 135, I haven't looked at their chart, but you can expect probably, I don't know. I won't put a price on them without looking, but I will say we'll suffer with reduced, building activity because you get a new Whirlpool whatever in your thing. I mean, a lot of their stuff is related to new homes and things like that. I haven't actually looked at them, so I won't put a date here, but we will do that eventually. So anyway, those things went down. What went up today? NVE Super. Yeah, there were some communications. I think AT&T, I did look at them today. I think AT&T could do more with their infrastructure. I've always thought that AT&T and Verizon are the two big, cellular providers with infrastructure and towers essentially all across the United States. it's got to be one of those two. I think they're leasing out their space to other providers. I feel like they should make that more expensive. I don't know why everyone gets to use towers at such a low rate, or maybe it should be cheaper. I don't know, but I guess I feel like they get on the hook for developing all, putting all the time and effort into the actual physical network creation, and then other people are getting a good deal on using their service. And they raised their prices on me for my monthly service. I had them, right? And they raised them on me, and I didn't complain one bit. I have said this. I just have to be honest. That's my fault here. I have to be honest. I was like, man, paying $100 a month for unlimited internet cell phone service is quite possibly the greatest deal in human history. I was like, cannot live without it. Like, you ever been without your phone for 5 minutes? I was like, I think I had a screen replaced once. I was walking around with my phone for an hour. I was lost. It's like a caveman walking around, and Bill and Ted's excellent adventure, just not knowing what is going on in the new world. Like, you can't do anything. I can't get drive anywhere and get lost, no directions. Like, what? It's a disaster. And so when they raised their price on me like $5 or $10, I was like, of course. I was like, I don't want to put the number up there about what I would actually pay per month for service, but it's more along the lines with something like car insurance than it is with the normal traditional internet. And I don't want to run around giving companies ideas on where they should increase their prices, but cell phone service and cell phones, even though they're expensive, are still undervalued because they are essentially human assistants right now. And life without them is basically impossible. No matter where you are, everybody's got a phone. You can't get into a sporting event without a smartphone. Can you imagine this 20 years ago? You try to go to a gate to a Red Sox game, you're like, here, I want to come in. And they're like, where's your ticket on your phone? And I'm like, I got a paper ticket. No, give me your phone. Like, they don't make paper tickets anymore. So everything's phone related. And I don't know, I just looked at them today. I see them so low. They were up at like 30 something a share last year when I was looking at them. It's just I just think they're just not utilizing what they have, and who knows why. And maybe they got into perhaps rough financing deals for borrowing a lot of stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of mess financially with this established company, but they've been around forever, and it's a big name, AT&T. All right, IBM, similar situation, except they are run better and have migrated more to the cloud somehow to figure out how to profit and get reasonable returns in revenue. Oracle, man, Oracle has great margins. I just cannot. I mean, no wonder Larry Ellison's got an island in Hawaii for himself, basically, because he's got, he's got like, I think it's like 300% margins or something I was calculating on generally what they're selling. Phenomenal. Like, and they've got repetitive contracts and steady income. Like, they won the database management revolution. And database management has high margins because it's just data. It's not a physical thing in many ways. It's a virtual thing, and it's how you organize it. So yeah, they just, they're going to get, I can see why they went up today. People looking to put money, Roblox, of course, up today, but they'll go down. So, all right. Point is, another thing I want to talk about here in the end of this is I was seeing a lot of road and rail and electric utilities had a rough day. Utilities got slammed, and I removed a lot of those utilities that I would never consider investing in anyway. Water management, all kinds of stuff. I removed it off this list because I was like, well, why don't I want to invest in that stuff? Why aren't those companies interesting to me? I'm sure some of them are still on here. Let me look at this in this order. Where's some of these utilities? I think I got rid of almost all of them. The water companies, the electric companies. Yeah, I just didn't want to look at them anymore. I mean, they left some of the rail, but I took them off because I had seen a video recently, and it's got me thinking. So there's this guy on YouTube called 2-Bit Da Vinci, and he does very interesting videos and breaking technology stuff, right? And one of his advertisers is a company called Ecoflow. And Ecoflow makes portable battery systems up to like 1 to 3 kilowatts. And you can connect them in succession and get more kilowatt hours or whatever. So, and they can be charged with solar as well as being charged in traditional outlets in a relatively quick period of time. Well, what that is decentralized battery technology. And the future of the grid is so obviously going in a direction of of what personal data has. Essentially, think about working from home, but working from home when it comes to energy and utilities. I'm talking about electricity and water. So like I see a future where we've just lined the country, all right, lined the country with portable battery packs being charged by solar all over the place. Meaning, like, imagine every gas station was turned into a depot where it was like 700 batteries lined up with solar panels everywhere, just charging them for free. And you come and like pick one up and you bring it with you and you charge your car while you drive it because you've got like portable battery packs you just picked up and then drop off at another location. Like, if we build enough battery packs and charge them with solar, we move our energy around in a smarter way, in an easier way, in a decentralized way. We move our energy around wherever we want it. And so when a hurricane comes through and rips down all the power lines and stuff, all of a sudden we've got battery packs that can be recharged with solar at like 500 watts for 3 hours. Like, you can get like a kilowatt hour in, I guess, 6 hours in a good sunny day. If you have enough panels and batteries all over the place, this energy source just becomes ubiquitous, and it's going to really help us in the new world of climate change destroying everything all the time, and in the era of electric cars where we need electricity as our power source to transport us. So when I see a company like Ecoflow that I don't think is publicly listed yet, even though they wanted to do an IPO, I saw an article last year about them wanting to do that. I don't know if they did it. I don't think they did. But a company like that, it's like $1,000 battery pack for what you want, right? But that price will come down, and also people will understand the value of the solar array in charging that, because we just don't get it still about how energy can be transferred and the best way to do it. And so companies that are on the vanguard of making that happen are going to have success, because it's going to be an imperative, and the ability of the oil and traditional combustion engine machine, the network of what is combustion engine and liquefied burning combustion gases and things and liquids into fuel, that is not, forget what it's even doing to the environment, which is bad. But even without that, it's going to become impossible to do that on the scale we need to do it, especially when everything can run on electricity. Almost everything can run on electricity instead of generating energy from combustion and burning. So, and the sun is providing it for free. I mean, it's so obvious, right? We just have to meet the sun's needs and transfer this. So it makes me want to go on a whole other diatribe about how to help the economy right now. So, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to just talk. I'm just going to talk. It's a podcast too. It's meant for listening and not just looking at the screen, but as things populate themselves. But I had some ideas. I'm like, all right, we got problems with inflation, right? And we have problems with buildings stopping. Well, how do you not create more inflation, but also continue activity so that markets don't drop and there are problems? And the answer is government investment does this, because government investment doesn't have to worry about interest rates so much when it does this. And it should create an economy. Okay, this is the goal of this, is to create a national economy. This is the American government we're talking about. Create a national economy that is decentralized and provides opportunity and benefit for economic activity in all places. In all places. How do you do that, right? When we have so many people consolidated and condensed in cities, and we have an accretion of intelligence that ends up getting localized in big cities for big money, right? How do you make an economy grow in New York City and Los Angeles and San Francisco, but also make it grow in Wichita, Kansas, and in Bismarck, South Dakota or North Dakota? Boy, I should know that. The capital, what is it? St. Pierre's the capital of one of them. I need to go there. I think St. Pierre is in North Dakota. Boy, I hope I'm saying cities right. Point is, I want to create economic activity, and we should all want to create positive, beneficial economic activity in all of those places. Well, what do we all need as people, right? There's some basic staples. There's shelter, there's food, there's water, there's entertainment, and there's energy, clearly, to run all those things. Well, a couple of those things have to be decentralized. Your food, your water, and your energy all have to be used at a point of place, in your shelter really as well, also. So all those things actually need to happen where you are. So how does the government create economic activity in every single place? And I think the answer is, let's have a I mean, they did this back in like World War II, which was, everyone got together to like build planes. That's what Wichita, Kansas essentially was founded at. I drove a hitchhiker to Wichita, Kansas one time where he lived, and he told me some stories about the area, and I learned a little bit about it, also watching some videos. But that was an airplane building town because of its location within the United States to centrally be able out and fly east and west kind of evenly. And so that's what that town was. Well, the whole country kind of got involved with, mining for steel and getting the things we need and donating stuff to build planes because it was the war, right? Well, I think it's not a war, hopefully, that we're going to be in right now, but it's a war on the economy, and it's a war on getting like people out of opiate addiction and stuff and into like having a productive life, right? So my idea is essentially take the sun, which does shine everywhere, even if it doesn't shine evenly. Take the sun, forget about the wind for now. Just take the sun, people in your towns, in your homes, like your kids, everybody. We can be making solar panels. We can be coming up. We can go buy a bunch of solar film at the Michaels or whatever like that and assemble our own solar panels and connect them with wires to batteries that we are getting or buying and use those as energy, and they'll eventually be powering our cars as well as other things, so that we actually decentralize from the grid completely. And we do it by generating economic activity in every single small town in the freaking country. Like everybody would be building this stuff. Like you could set up an arts and crafts center in every single small town where people are just assembling solar panels and bringing in batteries. I mean, we can even try to make it assembling batteries, even though that's a much more complicated process. So I feel like the batteries need to be an industrialized process, but the installation and connection of the batteries to the solar panels and the solar panels themselves, that does not need to be complicated, people. Solar film, it doesn't have a high efficiency transfer, but it's super cheap. Why can't we all be cutting this stuff up and charging batteries literally everywhere? Talk about expanding and like creating charging stations everywhere. You could literally, just like you have the little like Lyft scooters that you go and you rent or whatever, you could have batteries that are just sitting around all over the place. You'd never have to worry about range anxiety in your electric car again, because every 3 miles or less, there'd be somebody who had a bunch of battery packs lying out, and you'd go pick one up for a couple bucks and charge your car for another 30, 40 miles of driving. That's a future that could actually happen. And the technology is already there to make it happen. Why don't we? It's very forward thinking situation, and people have to make the commitment that the battery is the way we are going to go. And I don't see why not. I mean, solar charging, battery charging the world. Why aren't we doing that to the capacity with which the sun can emit, radiation, and we can absorb it? It seems like the obvious answer. And then we can get to fixing the UVB rays attack on our skin with Moderna's skin cancer vaccine, which is another reason why this company is a great long call option right now. The fact that they're going down is just a symptom of other market factors. And while those factors, I do not expect them to let up in the next few weeks, in the longer term, this is still a great buy. All right. So that's my update. That's my ideas for the day. Batteries, Ecoflow. I hope that company goes public, because they're a solution to so many problems when you extrapolate on what a world filled with solar powered batteries actually looks like. And we can start by doing it in America. They've done something like this in Norway, not with the portable battery pack, but with the charging stations all over the place. And they have a smaller geographical space with which to do that, and a fewer number of roads, if I'm correct. So it kind of makes sense for their situation. America's different, and we'd have to take a different approach. But the sun, if the sun isn't shining, we got a whole lot of other problems. So the sun probably will be shining, and that means we need to harness it. So let's do that. All right, that's my stock market update for the day. We'll continue to track things. My overall sentiment is that the next few weeks are going to see like a 5 to 10% net drop in a lot of companies that shouldn't be dropping. And the outliers that are going up are going to be outliers. And unfortunately, that includes Tesla and everybody else, just because I think overwhelmingly short term till after the election, there's just apprehension everywhere. It's not like Biden's going to take my idea about solar panel infrastructure investment in America and implement that tomorrow. It's going to take people months, and it's going to take the proper Congress and stuff like that to actually make those kind of things happen and to put the kind of investment into that. But these are incredible ideas, and the Canadian Solar's up there too, right? I'll talk to them about their product. They went way down today too. They get pushed around. A lot of people short them, but I like them. So anyway, that's my update. Good luck, everyone. May all your trades be winning.